Morning, it's Tuesday, quite the weekend. Big busy weekend, and
Smell.
This happened. Hey? Somebody did do break-ins of the arms. Okay, so kids dropped off. Point of today is to help me decide which shoe that I'm using for my Isle of Wight Ultra, which is in a week on Saturday. 3 contenders, the NIKE WILDHORSE 7, the HOKA SPEEDGOAT Wide 4, and the Altra Olympus 4. I have been sort of retesting all those shoes in the last few days. There's one in my mind that I think is the general winner. Gonna go through the whole load of shoes when we get back home and compare them all. Obviously it's not a fair comparison because they all differ. They're different drops, different weights, so we will see the pros and cons to all back at home. Right, that's it. See you back at home. Okay, so we're back at home and I'm gonna do the first test with my new scales. Let's start with the Altra Olympus 4s. And these are size 10.5, UK's men size 10.5, and that comes in at 363.7 grams. So let's call that 363. Okay, and then we're gonna go on to the SPEEDGOAT 4 and wide. 355, so 355, and I don't know what this one is going to be either. And let's see the WILDHORSE 6, 370. Oh, interesting. I've got to say, I'm quite surprised that the 7 was the heaviest. I mean, we're only talking about 5, 10, 15 grams, which isn't a huge deal. They're all pretty much the same, but yeah, I didn't realize that the SPEEDGOAT would be the lightest. And actually the WILDHORSE 7 is lighter than the Olympus. I'm actually feeling that. I'm not sure that's because I did run on these this morning, so they might still have a little bit of dampness, a bit of wet in them, so maybe that is one factor to take into consideration. But as it stands, round 1, SPEEDGOAT won. The second sort of segment, part of it, was the grip, okay? And again, I think I know which is gonna be the winner here. I would say the SPEEDGOAT 4 definitely has the best grip out of these two. Both the Olympus and the SPEEDGOAT have the Vibram Mega Grip. Traction, control, and a grip that does not clog up with mud. The SPEEDGOAT 4 is the winner. But unfortunately the Olympus has an issue with clogging up with mud here that I've discussed about before in the past. And the WILDHORSE, the grip is just, it's okay for roads, to trails, to light buffed out trails, but anything a bit slippery, it doesn't have much grip. It's not terrible, actually. It's not as bad as I thought it was, but in comparison to these two, it's hands down that the SPEEDGOAT has the best grip. So the next round was comfort. Now, this is tricky because all 3 shoes are extremely comfortable, but in last place, personally, the overall upper fit, lockdown and comfort goes to the SPEEDGOAT, actually, for the comfort, how it feels on the foot. I find these overlays can sometimes slightly rub my toes. It's not the softest material, it's quite a coarse, harsh material in there. But so I'm gonna give it the last place to the SPEEDGOAT. And then you might be surprised to hear that in second place, it is the Olympus. Now this is a big wide shoe, but I do find for some reason, this bumper can rub a little bit on my pink toe. There's space, but it just is very hard, this bumper, and it cuts down. And again, you might be surprised to hear this, but because of the extra huge amount of width that there is in the Olympus, sometimes I'm finding it quite hard to cinch a proper lockdown without my foot being a bit too sloppy inside. I'm surprised, I'm actually very surprised I'm saying this because I always wanted a room with loads of space, but maybe, just maybe, unless I'm wearing slightly thicker socks, to get the proper lockdown, this just caused a little bit of pressure on the top there. And there is just a lot of room up front, which isn't a bad thing, because obviously your foot swells over time, especially when you're running out long distances. But for that comfort, as I said before in my initial review of this one here, in the WILDHORSE, this super soft padded tongue, the lockdown seems really comfortable. It just wraps around your foot really nicely, and the lacing system for me personally works really, really well. And again, there's plenty of width up front, and I'm not too bothered by the slightly shallow toe box. That hasn't affected me at all. I'd find, if anything, it just keeps everything nice and controlled. But the overall fit, comfort, lockdown is the winner is this one here, is the Wild Horse 7, definitely, without, hands down. It's just so comfortable, and I don't know why, but it just has that super slipper type feel. And although it is heavy, as you know, it's the heaviest one, the weight distribution, as I said before in my earlier reviews, seems to be quite equal. There's a nice swing to this shoe. You kind of forget it's on your foot, weirdly, and at 370 grams, you know, it's a lot of weight, but I don't know, it seems to work. The last one, and probably, again, one of the most important, one very, very crucial factor is midsole. Okay, going back to the Speedgoat in here, this midsole is great. I mean, I do love it. It's a fantastic midsole. It's extremely resilient. It lasts a long, long time. But the only issue I have is that I'm almost finding, again, I'm quite surprised to hear me say this, but maybe just a little bit too soft, just a little bit too squishy, and I can lose ground feel. And that's, you know, for roads it's fine, but sometimes I just want to feel the ground a bit more. Therefore, I'm actually going to give it, you know, people will disagree, but in last place for the midsole is this one here. At the moment, for what I want. And then second place, it's the Altra Olympus, the A-bound. Now this midsole is quite similar to React midsole. It's soft, but also it's bouncy and responsive on the road. Great ground feel. But going back to the Wild Horse, and a few months ago, I'd probably never thought I was going to say this. Going back to the Wild Horse, yeah, that React midsole, it just works for the softer trails because it's not too soft and you can feel the ground and you can bounce back off soft trails, off the leaves and mud and things. But on the road, it comes into life again there. It's like it's like a two-split personality, this midsole. It works super well on soft trails, but on the road, it has a lovely, lovely bounce back. The energy return from that React midsole throughout is just working wonders. And the reason why, you know, the race that I'm doing on a week on Saturday, a lot of it is a quite hard packed road and stuff because it's the front of towns and things, because it's all around the island. A lot of fields and hills and paths, but there is a lot of hard pavement sections. That's why I'm feeling this sort of shoe could be ideal for me. Hopefully I don't eat my own words, but so midsole winner, Wild Horse 7. So taking into fact those 4 categories of weight, grip, overall comfort, lockdown, and midsole, I'm surprised, and I definitely wouldn't have thought I'd gone for this shoe, you know, 2 months ago or a month ago. There's no way that I would have ever thought I would have picked this shoe out of the 3, but I am going to choose the Wild Horse 7. Yeah, I'm finding, you know, it's a great sort of road to trail transition shoe. There's a lot of road that I have to do in this race, in this ultra. It's 106 kilometers. I find the midsole is going to work really well, but it's that comfort up here. That's what the winner is. Just so super comfortable, and it's a heavy shoe. It's not light shoe. 370 grams or whatever. But as I said, you just swing, it just works on my foot, you know. And people will disagree. I imagine this is going to be a bit of a, you know. I've always been a huge fan of the Olympus, of the Altra Olympus, but I do worry that it does clog up with mud quite a lot, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be quite as comfortable as the Wild Horse. And the Speedgoat, it's the loss of ground feel that I have in here. Almost too squishy, and the overall upper just isn't as comfortable as the Wild Horse. The Timp nearly got in there, but the Timp, I just think it just doesn't have enough super soft, super comfortable. And if it was all on just soft trails, on light trails, the Timp would be in there. But because of the road aspect, I've got to take that into account. I need a bit more pop, a bit more bounce back against the harder surfaces. So there we have it. As it stands right now, what is it? It is Wednesday. So a week and a half till the race, and it looks like, surprisingly, I've chosen Nike. Actually, saying that, I did use the Nike Wild Horse 5 when I did it in 2019, and that was quite a bit more minimal. So if that can handle it, I think most shoes can. So yeah, anywho, that is it. That was a kind of a comparison video between those three pairs of trainers. All really, really good shoes. They've all got huge plus points. As you can see, you know, I'm probably going to actually, you know, the weight, the grip, everything, the space up front. They've all got their pluses and negatives. But for what I'm choosing for this race, I think I'm going to go for the Nike Wild Horse 7. And yeah, right, I will check in again before the race, but so far all the running and training seems to be going very well. As you saw at the beginning of the video, my son did break his arm on the weekend, so that completely disrupted the training, but obviously that doesn't matter because the arm, the poor little lad was in a lot of pain and big operation, night in hospital, but he seems to be okay now, so that's the main thing. Anywho, right, that's it, enough said. I will see you soon. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.